Motor Club meets are held on the third Tuesday of every month except in December, starting at 7 p.m. to Blaney Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue.
Of course. Of course.
Before open is never checked into emergency or priority traffic at this time.
Bro, come on. Don't.
I'll be taking some check-ins here in a moment. I'm going to start off with Echo Link stations. Anybody on Echo Link wants to check in, call now.
W3OC. This is Alpha Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie. So the Echo Link is not getting the repeater, so if you would quickly check on that, that would be great. 73.
Got Alpha Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie on Echo Link. Anybody else on Echo Link?
Twin Cities has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeast.
W3OC. Please recognize Alpha, Alpha 3 Mike Romeo, name is Woke. Echo Link, Clarion Works, good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody on in that no cost.
Alpha 3 Mike Radio, portable on Echo Link. Anybody else on Echo Link?
60 miles per hour with gusts and half-dollar-size hail. This is a radar-indicated threat.
All right, okay. Thank you all. All right, now I'm going to start taking check-ins. Anybody else wants to check in, please? I'm looking for board of directors members at the moment. Check in, call now. November 3, Julia Hotel Bravo. Anybody else from the board of directors wishing to check in? Sure. Was that John K3CRO? There's a lot of noise apparently at the moment. All right. Anybody else from the board of directors wishing to check in? All right. How many non-50 stations are operating? Mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC. W3OC, please copy. Kilo Alpha 3, Yankee Golf Lima. Bruce, South Connersville, State County. No traffic. Good evening, Section Vanette.
Here's what I got. We currently have noise being heard on the repeater this evening. I got Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima and November 3 Tango Alpha United. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County?
Back control. Back control, please recognize November 3 Alpha Bravo Alpha 83 APA down here in Shire of Washington County. Good evening to that. No comments. No traffic.
November 3 Alpha Bravo Alpha. Anybody else mobile, portable, or outside of Allegheny County? hearing anything. Somebody with a carrier on there, but no audio. If you're using a handheld, pull it up closer to your mouth.
W3OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net.
Okay, got Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sugar Papa. Anybody else? Okay, now open up for general check-ins. Anyone else has like to check in that's done so, call now. Debbie and O'Hara.
W3OC, Whiskey Alpha 3 of the Oscar Uniform, Gino here. W3OC, net control. Control, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3, India, Romeo, Golf, Ed in McKeesport. Good evening to the net. Net control. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim in Carnegie.
Okay, that time I got Whiskey America 3 India Oscar Uniform, Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Golf, Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. Anybody else? Alrighty. Alright, thank you all for taking the time to check us this evening. I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Good Easter. It's kind of quiet over here at my house over the Easter holiday, and of course, I hope many of you are taking advantage of the better radio conditions that have been on the air on the HF bands. I haven't been noticing any major solar storms this week. Not that there couldn't have been. There's, with the high sunspot cycle, that occurs a lot more often than normal, I think. Okay. I'm going to try to get you some information on the Two Rivers Club. We have quite a few activities we do during the course of the month. We have a total of 4 radio nets that meet. Of course, this one on Monday nights at 8 o'clock. Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater frequency is the Two Rivers ARC GapNet, usually hosted by Steve, W3 Sugar Hotel Fox. It's a social gathering. You're welcome to join us. Thursday evenings at 8 o'clock p.m. on 28460 kilohertz on the 10-meter band. Sometimes we move frequencies depending on that. The only time we don't have the 10-meter net is when we have operations night, which occurs once a month. There's also a net scheduled on 40 meters on Friday nights at 6. I can't say I've heard it lately, but it's scheduled. We have other activities during the course of the month. We do have a operations night on the second Thursday of each month at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. Starts at 7 o'clock. Welcome to come out and join us. We actually get on the air and operate on the HF bands. Sometimes we do digital, sometimes we do voice. Sometimes we just have a social get-together, and sometimes we have various topics that are brought up for training a little bit. So that's on the second Thursday of each month at 7 o'clock up there at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department in the social hall. And then on the second Saturday of each month, the radio club has a thing called the Hams and Eggs Breakfast. It's a breakfast gathering in social hall. It's usually held at a local restaurant. Starts at 9:30 in the morning. Currently, we're using the Rock Run Inn restaurant located at Butler's Golf Course up on Rock Run Road, outside of Elizabeth. It's actually right off of Route 48. So the radio club has a lot of activities going on. Of course, currently we're running amateur radio technician level license exam preparation class. They started 2 weeks ago, and they're on Thursday evenings at 6 o'clock, I think. And they're going to be 6 sessions of that day. They've had 2 already. And when the sessions are done, they'll have an amateur radio exam session. I think it's on schedule for the 29th of May. So that's currently going on. The Radio Club does also operate in things like Winter Field Day, the ARL Field Day event, the PAQSO party, and other special event activities as we can get them scheduled. So a lot of information is on our website, TRARC.org. Radio Club meetings, members should, if you haven't done it already, check your email for information on the new club website. Requires a special login feature. You should have got an email. All club members should have been sent an email. I think they were with the login features, for that. I think it's called club/trarc.org, I believe is what the actual website is, but it does require login for members. So those are some of the activities Radio Club has. I guess the next big major activity here in the area is the Pittsburgh Marathon's coming up. I think it's next Sunday, May 4th. Their flyer I'm looking at here says amateur radio volunteers needed. I saw an email came out here a couple of days ago that they're still looking for operators for that. If you wish to sign up for that, they need about 100 operators needed. You should call Bob Minty, NU3Q, who's the Allegheny County Area RES Emergency Coordinator, by telephone at 412-279-9016, 412-279-9016. You can try them by phone, at cell phone, 412-736-7385, 412-736-7385, or be emailed to NU3Q, to nu3q.us. But I know he's still looking for operators for that. Okay, where's my flyer at? The North Hills Amateur Radio Club is conducting a raffle. It's based on selling of raffle tickets. It's for a Kenwood THD 75A tri-band handy-talkie. That's at 144, 220, and 440 megahertz bands. It's FM and D-Star. Includes an external charger and a longer antenna. Tickets are $10 each, and there's only 250 tickets available. Tickets will be available at all club meetings and special events. If you wish to do that, you can write to the North Hills Amateur Radio Club, P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, VA 15237. North Hills ARC, P.O. Box 15333, Pittsburgh, VA 15237. Let's see what else. I know this weekend, locally, there were a couple of amateur radio activities. The Steel City Club operated at the Carnegie Library over there in Carnegie, PA, at a thing called a Community Day. They were on the air on the HF bands. There's videos of that operation up on Facebook. And also the Steel City Club, along with some others, operated the special event station November 3 Papa that operated as a special event for the, pancreatic cancer operation. Congratulations to those folks for doing that. Let's see here. Local Amateur Radio Hamfest here in the Pittsburgh area, Sunday, June the 8th. At the Butler Farm Show grounds. That's sponsored by the Breeze Shooters. 625 Evans City Road in Butler, PA. Same location as last year. Site of the 2025 ARL Western Pennsylvania Section Convention. It features an indoor and outdoor flea market.
I guess they still have spaces available in numerous educational forums. I think a lot of that stuff is on their website for a schedule. They have quite a few vendors, including KJ Electronics, ICOM, DX Engineering, Radiodidity, and a whole bunch of others. So that's coming up on Sunday, June the 8th. I've heard that Somerset has a Ham Fest coming up in July. I don't have any dates or information on that, at least not yet. And once I get that, I'll make sure. And I think it's in July sometime. So we'll have more information as we get it a little closer. The next flyer I have is from Uniontown ARC for the 75th Annual Gab Fest, Saturday, August the 9th at their club grounds. Actually, hours are 8 a.m. till noon or something like that. That's on Saturday, August the 9th. Skyview Radio Society has their swap and shop at their club grounds located at, what takes the address? 2335 Turkey Ridge Road in New Kensington, PA, located at their club grounds. That's on Sunday, August the 24th. Just looking a little bit further in, September 7th is the Butler County Amateur Radio Society's Swap Fest. That's the Unionville Fire Department, 102 Mahood Road in Butler, PA. Sets us along PA Route 48. I'm sorry, it's along PA Route 8, 4 miles north of US 22. Okay. Of course, Field Day is coming up in the latter end of June. A lot of clubs participate in that, as do individuals. Two Rivers is still scheduled, as far as I know, for the water tower site located in White Oak Park in White Oak, PA. So all that kind of stuff's coming up. If I missed anything, like everything else, you probably do, but I just don't have it here in front of me. Okay. With that, I'm going to take a standby. Does anybody need any repeats or anything they've heard? This is W3OC. Not heard. All right. Okay. Let me get this AR Newsline thing keyed up on the computer here, and we'll get playing. I do believe there's a report on the recent PanCam operation that Skyview and some other groups were involved with for the what do you call it? Pancreatic Cancer Foundation. Okay, let's see what we got tonight. This W3OC. Let me switch over to Newsline.
Service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO. Our top story is the International Amateur Radio Union, which has just marked the 100th anniversary of its founding in Paris. It's using the occasion to look within and to consider a way it can be restructured. The IARU's Administrative Council has released a consultation containing an overview and a number of proposals. Region 2, which covers North, Central, and South America, will be hosting 2 informational meetings on the Zoom platform where Region 2 societies can discuss the document, ask questions, or recommend changes. One Zoom session will be conducted in Spanish on Monday, May 5th, 2025 at 2359 UTC, moderated by Ramon Santoyo, XE1KK, former Region 2 president, Region 2 President George Gorsline, VE3YV, will moderate a session on Wednesday, May 7th in English at 2359 UTC. Links to both meetings can be found in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. You will also find a link to the homepage of IARU Region 2, where you can download the document in PDF format. Meanwhile, as special event stations around the world marked the 100th year of the IARU, there was a new voice calling CQ this year for the occasion. We have those details from John Williams, VK4JJW.
If you happen to hear the call sign EP100IARU on April 18th and you got in the log, you're among the more than 500 contacts made by 8 amateur radio operators in Iran using CW, SSB, and FT8. This was the first activation in celebration of the IARU's anniversary, organized by the Naqshas-e-Jahan Radio Amateur Society. World Amateur Radio Day marks the founding of the International Amateur Radio Union in 1925 in Paris. In Iran, the Special Event Station Coordinator, Amir EP3ISF, told Newsline that the group's participation marked a significant milestone for everyone. Meanwhile, be patient. He said that QSL cards are being mailed directly. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
In Pennsylvania, radio ops activating a special event call sign are feeling the absence of the ham with whom it all began. We hear more from Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
This is the first year that special event station N3P is going on the air without Rich Riva, WQ3Q. Rich conceived of the event 3 years ago and called attention to the work of the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, or PANCAN, an organization that serves patients and families of patients suffering from pancreatic cancer. Rich had lost his younger brother, Tom, to the disease years earlier and became a silent key from it himself last year. Bill Samek, W3BUW, said that he knew it was time for Skyview Amateur Radio Society, the club Rich had belonged to fulfill the mission for him this year. Operators are putting N3P on the air the 25th, 26th, and 27th of April, coordinated, as always, to the Purple Stride Walk benefit that takes place on Saturday, April 26th, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, one of several such walkathons around the nation. Yes, there will be QSL cards, but these are not typical QSOs. As Rich himself told Newsline in an interview in 2023, quote, "People want to talk, want to share their experiences with their family. We told our operators to sit and listen. It doesn't matter how long the contact takes if it serves a purpose of helping," end quote. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE. The World Radio Sport Team Championship is 1 year away, and yes, you too can qualify to compete for a prize. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, explains how.
If you're interested in competing in the World Radio Sport Team Championship in the UK in 2026, you have until the 30th of April to submit your sealed bid in US currency. 2 sponsored team positions are available. The 2 highest bidders will be selected for WRTC 2026 after an auction of 2 rounds. The minimum bid is $20,000 US. Sponsored teams have participated in previous WRTC events and differ from qualifying teams in that they purchase their place in the competition. WRTC organizers consider this arrangement provides a valuable contribution to the event's budget. All teams are bound by the same operational rules. Bidders will be notified by the 6th of May of their standing in the first round and will become eligible to submit their final bid no later than the 31st of May. For more details about the process, see the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
An amateur radio society in New Hampshire has a message for radio amateurs, regardless of whether they are technician, general, or extra class. If you want to get on the air more, start by getting online, especially at one particular day next month. Patrick Clark, K8TAC, explains.
On the 10th of May, the Nashua Area Radio Society is hosting its free ham boot camp on the Zoom platform from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Demonstrations and tutorials will cover emergency communications, satellite operations, FT8, and equipment for VHF-UHF operating. Hams will also learn how to build a station so they can get on the air. In fact, one of the main purposes of the boot camp is to help hams overcome many of the most common obstacles that keep them off the air. Everything from how to select the right HT to participating in fox hunting or contesting. For more details, visit the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Patrick Clark, K8TAC.
If you're planning to attend ham radio in Friedrichshafen this year, you'll be asked to consider some remote possibilities. In this case, remote refers to remote radio, which is the theme of the International Amateur Radio Exhibition this year. Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, has those details.
The weekend of June the 27th will be devoted to the usual in-person contacts between old friends, with plenty of workshops, seminars, and new product displays in the mix of activities. The motto for this year's exhibition in Germany, however, is all about not being there. The theme of remote radio connecting the world focuses on how radio operators are no longer required to be in the same place as their equipment in order to transmit successfully. This kind of remote operation has already been demonstrated in a number of high-profile de-expeditions using the radio in a box. These stations are controlled remotely over the internet, opening up more activities for those who wish to experiment and allowing de-expeditions to take place in environmentally sensitive areas where human presence is forbidden or restricted. Last year's event attracted more than 11,300 attendees from 58 nations. For full details about the program and accommodation for Europe's largest ham radio trade fair, see the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. I'm Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
Each year, the Amateur Radio Newsline Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award receives nominations of promising young hams who truly impress our judges. It is time once again to give them an opportunity at the recognition they deserve. Consider nominating an amateur radio operator 18 years of age or younger here in the continental United States. Consider someone who has talent, promise, and a commitment to the spirit of ham radio. Find application forms on our website at arnewsline.org under the YHOTY tab. We are accepting nominations through May 31st. It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the AH6LE repeater in Clackamas County, Oregon, on Sundays at 6 p.m. local time. Hams in Pennsylvania will be on the riverfront, following the progress of canoes for a special charity challenge, as we hear from Travis Lisk, N3ILS.
The North Brook Canoe Challenge, taking place on May 3rd on Pennsylvania's Brandywine River, is actually 3 challenges in one. The first challenge is to help support the Cerebral Palsy Association of Chester County. The second is for the boaters to enjoy navigating the at times challenging 9.5 miles of waterway, taking special care around a dam that they encounter midway through the course. The third challenge is the one that will be facing amateur radio operators from the Chester County Aries Races group to help ensure everyone's safety. The hams have provided communications for this charitable event for 23 of its 47 years. Like oars guiding the canoes through the challenging waters, the radio operators are guided by a net control station as they check in with real-time reports throughout the 2-hour challenge using a system of 4 linked UHF repeaters with simplex backup. While the hams pass traffic from the shore, the Chester County dive team keeps closer watch from the water itself. Jim Harris, WA3NOA, the ham's technical lead and coordinator, is in touch with the head of the dive team, who communicates with him and the divers using the county's extra rugged handheld P25 radios. Jim told Newsline that it's not over until the final canoe, piloted by someone from the canoe company itself, comes by. Then everyone can be certain that no one has been left behind. He said that canoeing is popular in the county, and on May 3rd, canoeing to raise funds is certain to keep the local Cerebral Palsy Association buoyant too. This is Travis Lisk, N3 ILS.
As it marks the completion of its first 100 years, the South African Radio League has set an ambitious goal for itself, one that takes its efforts beyond South Africa. We hear more from Jim Meechan, ZL2 BHF.
With age comes wisdom, or so it's said. So as to prepare to mark its centenary in May, the South African Radio League has decided that it would be an especially wise move to nurture amateur radio growth throughout sub-Saharan Africa. SARL President Nico van Rensburg, ZS6QL, told the website Tech Central that amateur radio is almost non-existent outside of Egypt and Nigeria in the northern part of the continent and Namibia and South Africa in the south. He said, quote, "You have this middle part of Africa where there is nothing, absolutely nothing," end quote. Finding a foothold for amateur radio in less developed parts of the continent will be an ambitious agenda, and SARL acknowledges that this kind of expansion will need political and financial support. SARL's Chris Turner, ZS6GM, who has been active in amateur radio instruction and mentoring, has already had success with efforts in Mozambique. In that nation, ham radio operators are seen as an asset, especially when floods or other natural disasters require emergency communications. SARL has already kicked off its next 100 years with a centenary marathon QSO party that began on the 1st of January and will continue through to the 31st of December. Special event call signs will include ZS100 SARL. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Congratulations to the 3 highest scoring student teams in the Fram2Ham Slow Scan TV competition. We hear about the winners from Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
The Fram2Ham SSTV competition was all about the successful reception of a number of different SSTV images that astronauts sent from the SpaceX capsule in early April during the Fram2 mission. The transmissions were sent over 2 meters, puzzle style, by astronaut Rabia Raga, LB9NJ/KD3AIB, as the 3-day mission undertook the first human spaceflight to orbit the planet over the North and South Poles. When pieced together, the images formed a complete picture. First place winner was the team Aristocats, with students in Lithuania, Italy, Switzerland, and here in the U.S., California, and Pennsylvania. Second place was awarded to Team W1HLO-LA1K, comprising students in Norway, Germany, and here in the U.S., Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. Finally, third place winner was the team known as Goofy Fram, with students from France, Greece, and here in the U.S., Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and New York. The astronaut said in a statement, quote, "Well done, everyone. We loved to see that all the teams were very international. My hope is that some friendships have formed, the passion for technology has been kindled, and that most of all, everyone had fun," end quote. This is Andy Morrison, K9 AWM.
In the world of DX, the Guernsey Amateur Radio Society will operate special event station GU80 LIB from the 9th through the 11th of May to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Channel Islands at the end of World War II. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Radio Club Pierre Coulon, F5KMB, continues with its celebration of the centenary of the International Amateur Radio Union. Club members are activating 4 call signs, TM100I, TM100A, TM100R, and TM100U, which will be on the air through the 13th of July. See QRZ.com for QSL details. David M0YBC will be active as MD0YBC from the Isle of Man, IOTA number EU116, from the 25th through to the 28th of April and again from the 1st through the 4th of August. David plans to operate from 8 POTA locations on the island. See QRZ.com for QSL details. The Japan Amateur Radio League has a special event station on the air until the 13th of October at the premises of the 2025 Expo in Osaka City. Listen for the call sign 8K3EXPO. See QRZ.com for QSL details. For our final story, we look at bats. Flying mammals known for the biological sonar transmissions used for echolocation to help them navigate and find food. Well, meet some bats in northern New York State who recently began transmitting on VHF too. And meet the hams who are tuning in to copy them. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, has that story.
Tricolor bats are tiny, but the transmitters they are wearing so conservationists can track them are even smaller. Ashley Meyer from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation is tracking the bats because of the appearance of an invasive fungal disease known as white nose syndrome. White nose syndrome has caused the bats' population to decline by 98%, making them candidates for the endangered species listing. That's why some hams in the Adirondack Mountains are going to bat for the bats. They sent out a request asking ham clubs for help in tracking the bat signals being transmitted in 1 kilohertz steps between 150 and 151 megahertz. Ashley said the Champlain Valley Amateur Radio Club responded. Club President Mark, KD2RJP, said that a dozen or so hams will be participating. Their job, according to Ashley, is to track where the bats spend their summer and record the distance they migrate. Ashley said the bat tracking squad will also include agency staffers and bat specialists using ground-based telemetry. Ashley herself will be tracking the bats from a plane during the night of the bats' release. Everyone is motivated and excited, but remember, since the bats aren't transmitting on amateur frequencies, don't expect any QSL cards. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
Have you sent your amateur radio haiku to Newsline's Haiku Challenge yet? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. Set your thoughts down using traditional haiku format, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 again in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on our website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, AMSAT UK, Amir, EP3ISF, Bill Samek, W3BUW, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, 425DX Bulletin, Ham Radio Friedrichshafen, IARU Region 2, QRZ.com, shortwaveradio.de, the Wireless Institute of Australia, World Radio Sport Team Championship, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. All rights reserved.
Okay, it's W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Alrighty, let's see. Do I have any more announcements? Nope. This time I'll take some late check-in. Anyone else like to check in? Has done so, call them. Here's Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, Merle and Elizabeth Township. K3HIR. Anybody else? Okay, we got an N3BJA. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else wishing to check in, call now. Okay, thank you all for taking the time to check on us this evening. And I'm going to turn the repeater back to General Amateur Use. I hope everybody has a good week. Please don't forget our other nets. Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Is the Two Rivers Cap net. Okay, and with that, we're turning the repeater back to General Amateur Use. It's W3OC, also it's W3ON. Good night.